Welcome to the Arts in Medicine studio. When I was a little girl, I grew up without television. There was just no TV in my country. So every day at 2 p.m., I would turn on the radio and listen to the Kids Corner, which is where they told stories. And as I was thinking about how influenced I was about reading, about creating my own images from stories that are told, and listening to Cody and the canon and seeing Sonali's illustrations, I cracked up because of how she saw the character Raya and how she brought her to life in size and shape and color. So I thought I'll invite Ishaan and Sonali here today to maybe be inspired by her process and learn more about life and creativity. So hello, Ishaan.
Hi, this is very, very exciting. I can't wait to see how these illustrations come to life.
And it's 11 o'clock here, but actually it's like 9 o'clock at night over at India. So how about we go ahead and take a flight over the Pacific Ocean and greet Sonali. Hello. Hi, Sonali.
Hi Nitza, hi Ishaan. It's amazing seeing you guys and finally connecting with you people. And I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed every part of making these illustrations, and it took me back to my childhood too.
So Sonali is as a painter with such an amazing studio. How did you adapt to reading the script of Cody and the canon and being able to translate it into images and scenes and backgrounds and textures?
I think actually I enjoyed doing the illustrations because it took me back to my childhood. And my childhood comprised of a lot of storybooks, reading a lot of storybooks for children. And one of the very popular authors at that time in India was Enid Blyton. And Enid Blyton took you to a world of fairy tales and fairies, gnomes, and pixies, and enchanted forests full of color, and a make believe world. And I could relate to what children think like. And I wanted to live my childhood again. And I did a part of that through these illustrations. And I also wanted the children to see the same color and maybe imagine with me and grow with me as I illustrate.
I was just so impressed, Sonali, with the character of Raya. You know, on our team, we have the most amazing Raya who weaves and is the president of Sayuri Arts and been part of many of our videos. And I think that it's hysterical to compare the two. So if it's okay with you, I'll invite Raya to join us here today.
Definitely, I'd love to see her.
Hi, Raya.
Nitza. Hi, Sonali. How are you? Wow, good to meet you.
I was just looking forward to this so much.
So, Mom, how is it to finally meet Raya, the person who Raya, the alien, is based on?
I think it's as amazing, and she is just what I imagined. I love the work she does. It's again amazing work which Raya does here, and Raya does there too in the illustrations. So
Stories,
you
yeah.
can correlate the two in a way.
We would like to challenge you guys to create a different Raya character and send it to us, even though we're going to see what Sonali did with our Raya, and you can follow it in the episodes we're currently recording. I think Raya could look in so many different ways.
I also noticed that your backgrounds are so detailed and have so much texture, have so much natural beauty. Uh, what what led you to focus so much on the backgrounds and really focus so much on the settings that these characters are in?
See, I grew up in the mountains, and you are surrounded with color and a lot of nature there. So I think my color and my backgrounds were inspired from a lot of my childhood. It came from there. And also, when you paint on a canvas, a lot of texture and color comes into the backgrounds. So for me, this was not just pure illustration, it was an amalgamation of the way I do my canvases into a form of making these illustrations. It was a kind of a bridge between the two. So therefore, there was a lot of texture in the background, because in my canvases, there's always a lot of texture.
Could you show us?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So like there's a lot of texture here, and their colors again, if you see. And there's a part of the texture here too. This is actually a lot of texture in the entire image. And if I go on to some more images, again, this is all texture.
Wow.
Sonali, I love your work. I'm a real texture person, as you know, from the fiber, and I can really relate to the colors and the textures that you bring to your paintings. They're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So Sonali, would you please show us how to draw Raya?
Yeah, definitely. So this is the first sketch, and I have just drawn the outline of what I imagine Raya to be. Alongside, I've also made two little children coming, running, and hugging her, again as outlines. And also, since the in the description, the Raya is a very tall woman. She is 8 feet tall. So I have sized the children accordingly. Like they are tiny, and she is really tall. So I've tried to incorporate that in the first sketch. In this sketch now, since we've finished with the outline, now we have to add the color to the images. Here I've put all the colors I imagine right for Raya. And I think every child could put whichever color they would feel right. So I've put fluorescent green and red and blue and a little bit of yellow into her hair. And I've given her a happy pink face. And I've made two little children hugging her with bright colored clothes. Raya at the same time is supposed to be, as per the description, wearing a golden gown. So I've given her a golden gown. And there's a little bit of a mermaid like beauty which I've put into Raya. That's what I perceived her as a very, very beautiful woman who is, in my imagination, looked like a mermaid. So, alien mermaid. So that's what I did. Then in the third sketch, now we have to add the group of aliens from the planet and who are imprisoned with her. So since these aliens are wearing the prisoners' dresses, I've drawn them wearing a prisoner's gown, and all of them looking sad, and the color of the eyes is fading. So it's not bright orange; it's faded orange. And but they are interested in seeing what's happening and what are these children going to say to Raya, and what is it. So they've all come and surrounded them, and they're trying to interact with them. So this is what I did. Then in the next picture, I've started adding the background. So this is where, like, even in the paintings, when we finish the sketching and the coloring of the foreground, we start doing the background. It can be either way. You can do the background first, or you can do the background later. I mostly prefer to do the background later. So I've added the background after this. And the background for me was a sad background because they are in a prison cell. So I could not add bright colors in the background. And it was the dark lens. So I've given it a dark uh, beige color and a black background. There's a little bit of a dinginess to the background. So that I've added in the next sketch also. A lot of blackness to the background. After that, that was the next layer. Then in the next sketch, I've added a little more darkness further. I still felt it needed a little more darkness. So I've added a little more darkness. And when I looked at it, I felt that, you know, the happiness in the room came from Raya. That is amazing.
It really is
This
amazing.
is so inspiring. Raya, what do you think? Is there a connection between this character and you?
I don't know. Let me see. Is there a connection? In a way, I have that. I want to bring happiness to everybody. That's what I really do. And I have a certain flair, so perhaps she's on it.
Absolutely.
I really noticed how you have to try your best to adhere to whatever the author has written in the story. And you have to say, like, if she says that Raya's wearing a gown, she has to wear a gown. But it still does give you a little bit of creative freedom because she didn't tell you what exactly the gown looks like, or the parts that the author doesn't talk about, because the author can't talk about everything. You can sort of insert your imagination into that.
In order to create something new, you hear what you hear and you draw what you feel. And maybe you can create an illustration for us of one of the characters. We'll send it all the way to India, to Sonali, to see it and be inspired by it too. You can really create something unique to yourself and send it to me to AIMNitza@gmail.com, and we will celebrate creativity and listening in a very special way. Ishaan, thank you so much for sharing your mother with us.
And thank you so much, Nitza, for having me.
Raya, thank you for jumping in. I have to admit that you always bring light to our studio, our room, and our life.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you're able to meet Sonali.
You too.
And Sonali, this is a beginning of a beautiful relationship. We are so very grateful.
So much, Nitza. I loved every part of the interaction, and I loved doing every illustration I did. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
And have a good night. I know now in India it must be after 10 o'clock at night. And here we are just getting ready for lunch. The Arts in Medicine studio continues to connect time, space, and feelings. So please write to us, share with us, and we can't wait to come back to the studio and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.